What's good guys, my name is Oleg Nikitin from Russia with Love, you're watching No Limits On channel, and yesterday I put out a video Sony a7S III camera versus iPhone 13 Pro Max in terms of video, and I got more than 50 comments that I have to compare ProRes on the iPhone with the Filmic Pro app, so let's do this, let's go. Before we compare the Sony a7S III with the iPhone 13 Pro Max, let's compare the ProRes 422 with Filmic Pro app with HEVC codec from the iPhone, which is the main codec when you shoot in base camera app. Straight away we can see the difference in stabilization. Filmic Pro stabilizes the clip in a different way and it's much worse than the standard HEVC recording with the camera app. Also we can see the difference in noise reduction. The native app applies more noise reduction for sure, and the difference in white balance as well. Filmic Pro and ProRes are looking a little more towards magenta, whereas the HEVC towards green color. Also we can see a slight crop in ProRes, it's minimal but I have to mention it. And here is the shot with 26mm main camera, and as you can see the stabilization is much better with HEVC standard recording in the main camera app of the iPhone. So if the stabilization is the king for you, use HEVC. And now let's compare. Sony a7S is on the left, ProRes 422 is in the middle, and HEVC codec is on the right. Please guys, read carefully all the settings up above. We don't see a huge difference between Sony, ProRes and HEVC on 100% crop, but when we crop in 400% we can start seeing the difference in detail levels. ProRes looks a touch sharper thanks to the less noise reduction, but also it has more digital noise. It was the lowest ISO setting, by the way. And now let's get to the corner. We can see that it's slightly sharper with ProRes 422 comparing to the HEVC codec, but it's negligible, and the Sony looks better overall. We can straight away see the difference in detail levels between Sony and iPhone, and the same stuff is going on between ProRes and HEVC codec. When we get to the corner, we can see much more noise reduction is being applied to HEVC codec, and the ProRes looks a little noisier, which is okay because we have less noise reduction, especially in the shadows. And by the way guys, you can see more detailed comparison between Sony a7S III and iPhone 13 Pro Max in HEVC codec. In my full comparison, we've compared the cinematic mode, the macro mode, all the nuances of video shooting. I'll leave a link in the description and in the YouTube card. Let's get to the telephoto lens X3. Once again, we see that the Sony is much more detailed and more pleasing to the eye thanks to less digital sharpening, and ProRes and HEVC look very close to each other once again. The benefits of ProRes are not that visible in static picture. Let's get to the skin tone comparison, Sony versus ProRes 422. We can straight away see the difference in the blur. It was f2.8 on the Sony, and also we can see the color of skin, it's pretty different, and iPhone is leaning towards magenta a lot. I'm not that pink guys. Now let's compare all three pictures in terms of skin tone. Straight away I can see that ProRes 422 and HEVC from the iPhone is providing us with more pink colors, especially you can see this on my hands. When we crop in, we can see how digitally over-sharpened my face is on the iPhone in both codecs, and how harsh the noise reduction is, and also the gradation from darker side of my face towards the lighter side of my face is more harsh. I do prefer Sony here. And now once again the ultra-wide shot, and let's have a look at water reflections. On this shot I guess Sony focused somewhere else, so let's look at the ProRes and HEVC, especially the reflections in the water. Now with the main camera, and we can straight away see a ton of digital sharpening. The picture from the iPhone looks unnatural. And now the telephoto shot, it's just the same. Now let's have a look at dynamic shots. I put the camera and the iPhone to my DJI Ronin S, so the camera shake doesn't distract you at all, and you can straight away see how much better the Sony a7S III is, especially on the ultra-wide lens in the corners of the shot. Both ProRes and HEVC look pretty bad in the corners with ultra-wide lens. And when we see all three pictures all together, we can see how much digitally more sharpened the iPhone looks, and I have to be honest, it's looking pretty bad to my eye. And one more ultra-wide shot, we can also see the difference in shutter speed. That is why the iPhone footage is looking choppier. And less noise reduction is being applied to ProRes, that is why it has more detail but more noise as well compared to HEVC standard recording on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. And the best test for ProRes 422 is this little green fence. If you saw my video about ProRes, its benefits and disadvantages in the iPhone 13 Pro Max, you probably remember this fence. And the difference there was huge, so let's test it out right here. As we can clearly see, the HEVC codec has much more aggressive noise reduction, and that is why we can see a lot of ghosting on the fence, and overall the fence is looking less sharp than on the ProRes footage or with the Sony a7S III. And the final test for today, low light, ISO 800 on the main camera sensor, it looks pretty decent in both ProRes and HEVC, and when we switch to ultra-wide we get a ton of digital denoise and it's overall a blurry mess, so I wouldn't recommend using the ultra-wide camera on the iPhone in low light. So guys, let's conclude. As I mentioned before in my ProRes review video, it's not that different. Yes, we do have some advantages, but also we have a ton of workflow caveats. So my goal was to show you the difference, and it's up to you to decide whether you will be using ProRes on the iPhone 13 Pro Max or iPhone 13 Pro, or you won't. In my opinion, it's not necessary to use ProRes in 80% of shooting scenarios. So guys, what are your thoughts on ProRes in iPhone 13 Pro Max? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you did enjoy this video, please smash the like and subscribe buttons as I say in my videos and hit the notifications bell. This was Oleg Nikitin, No Limits On channel from Russia with love, and I see you guys in the next video. Take care, bye.